morning, welcome to day 11 of Vlogmas. So I thought I'd start off today's video by showing you how our Advent candle is getting on. We've been lighting it every day since the 1st of December and it's looking a lot shorter than when we started on the 1st. And it's been really nice actually to light it every morning, and we usually pop it on the table when we're having breakfast so we can keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't burn down too far. And yeah, it's just been a really nice way of counting down the days to Christmas actually, along with the chocolate advent calendar the children have too, which is a good way of counting down too. But yeah, I've really enjoyed having the advent candle on every day. So here it is now, as I said, looking a lot shorter than when it started. And we're pretty much at the halfway mark on it now because we've already had breakfast this morning and melted down number 11. But yeah, I've really enjoyed having it on. I think it's really sweet. I like the little snowman at the bottom, particularly this little snowman at the back that has a little robin on his head. I thought he's quite cute. So yeah, I thought I'd show you that so you can see how much progress we've made on it there. But yes, today is Monday the 11th of December and it's about 11 o'clock in the morning here right now. And I've had quite a busy morning this morning after doing the school run, the food chopper ride, so I got that all popped away, and then I went out for a run, and then I got back and got on with quite a few house jobs, tidying up from the weekend, a wash load including some muddy clothes from my husband and children's sort of wet muddy scoot home from church yesterday and that sort of thing. So I've got a few house jobs out of the way, so I thought now would be a good time to pop on here and share with you what Elf was up to and a few other things. So I'll start off with what Elf was up to in the night. So when we came down this morning, which actually was a little bit later this morning, my daughter gave us a small lie-in, which was quite nice. But when we got down this morning, we found Elf had been very busy in the night. He'd enlisted the help of a little construction crew, and they basically switched around our 3 Christmas trees. So we have 3 Christmas trees in our house. One is very small, it's just about this big. And it's one my mum bought my husband quite a few years ago. It's quite cute, and yeah, just small, and we just pop it on top of a unit in the other room, and yeah, it doesn't take up much space. And then we've got a medium-sized Christmas tree, which is a white Christmas tree, and I do like white Christmas trees. I remember seeing them at other people's houses as a child and thought they were quite pretty and a bit different. And I remember, again, this is quite a few years ago, all of our Christmas trees are quite old now. I remember seeing this Christmas tree in a garden centre after Christmas, and it came in a little pink bag. And it had everything in the bag you needed for the Christmas tree. So it had the tree itself and the baubles and lights and a little star. And it was really, really, really discounted after Christmas. And I said to my husband, can we get it please? Because I really fancied the idea of a white Christmas tree and it was quite a nice size, not too big. I think he was a little bit reluctant because at the time we were living in a very small sort of rented accommodation together. We really didn't have room for one Christmas tree barely, let alone a second little white one, but we kind of got it and then stored it away. And when we moved into this house, I was really pleased to be able to have it out. So that's our second Christmas tree, and then we have our big Christmas tree, which is the one we bought when we first moved in together to kind of have in our original place we lived. And it's been really good, it's lasted really well. We've had it out every year for forever, but it's a nice decent sized Christmas tree, and it's the one we put our presents under in our sort of main one. So they're all quite different sizes, but Elf had somehow managed to switch them all around. So instead of our big Christmas tree in our living room, the little tiny one was there. I'll put a picture up so you can see it looking tiny next to our sort of presents we have, the like present lights. And then Elf had managed to get the white Christmas tree, the medium one, onto the sort of unit where we usually have the tiny one. So that was quite an impressive feat. And then the big one he'd moved and it was totally in the way, sort of as we go through to the kitchen area. So it wasn't very practical what he'd done. I think it was a bit of a practical joke of his. But I think he'd obviously had fun, with the little help of the construction crew. It looked like they'd all got stuck into that. So yeah, my children were slightly horrified and slightly amused, a bit of both, when they found what he'd done. My daughter wanted my husband to move them back straight away, and it was actually quite hard to move them back, particularly the big one, to get it through the house. It was quite hard, so Elf obviously did a good job there with the construction crew managing to move them all around. But yeah, that is what we found Elf up to this morning. So yeah, I think he must have had a busy night. That must have taken him a while because all those construction crew as well, they were quite small still, so good effort on their part. I think Elf's probably having some well-deserved sleep now after a busy night there. But yes, that is what Elf was up to in the night. And then I'll move on to what I'm wearing today. And I felt a bit cold after I came back from my run, so I thought I'd put on quite a nice cosy sweater dress. And this is actually a pattern. I've got 2 sweater dresses in this pattern. I've actually got 3, but one of them I've just decided to hand on actually. I've got 2 that I really love to wear. And I just think they're such easy go-to cosy sweater dresses to put on when the weather's a bit cooler. And I made them both using this pattern here. I've got this folder here. Well, it's from this sort of ebook here, which is the Sew Over It My Capsule Wardrobe City Break ebook. So I've done a few ebooks over the years. This is the only one I have. I know they've got a nice one that's I think maybe called Summer Dreaming or something like that, which has some lovely patterns in too, and I keep thinking I should get it, but I haven't bought it to date. But this ebook I bought particularly because I like this pattern, which is the pattern I've got on, pattern that Lisa's wearing on the front here, is the Molly top and dress pattern. So here are the line drawings. It is a jersey, also knit, stretchy, top and dress pattern for stretch fabrics, that's what I'm trying to say, with quite a wide neckline, a dropped shoulder, and you can make either as a top or a dress. The size range isn't the biggest. I think this is quite an old ebook, so I don't think the size range has been extended, so it only goes from a UK 8 up to a UK 20, and I've always made the UK 8. I think favourite patterns now go from a size 6. My measurements put me as a size 8 on the waist and hips, but my bust is a little bit smaller than a size 8, so I think my bust would probably fit their size 6. They've more recently added to their size range. But I've always gone for the straight size 8, and it's a bit like the South Bank sweater, where actually it's quite nice having a bit more room around the bust because I've got this dress layered up over a t-shirt underneath for an extra layer to keep me a bit more cosy. But it's a really nice dress and top pattern. It comes together really quickly. I like the drop shoulder detail. It's just a really sort of just easy one to pull on over your head, nice and cozy. And I like how, because it's quite a simple shape, you can have fun with like a nice print. So yeah, the version I'm wearing today, I made in this French terry fabric, which I got quite a few years ago from an online fabric shop that has actually just very recently closed down, which is a real shame. But yeah, I love this fabric. I just love the colours in it. I don't know what it is about the colours. Just really love them. This sort of bluey colour and then this pinky colour. And I like how the flowers have got a little bit of yellow into it. I think that's quite pretty. So yeah, I always enjoy wearing this one. I've got it on with a pair of cosy tights and I'm feeling a lot warmer now wearing it. And I'll put a picture up so you can see what it looks like on. But yeah, I really recommend the Molly top and dress pattern. It's just a really nice basic top and dress pattern to have in your pattern library. I've got a few top versions too, and I find them like a really nice casual top to wear as well. So yeah, that is what I'm wearing today. So while I'm on now, I also wanted to share with you a new make that I finished last night, which is a crochet make. I mentioned yesterday in day 10 of Vlogmas that I was hoping to have a bit of time on the sofa last night to do a bit of crafting, and I was hoping to finish this project, and I did finish it, so I thought I'd share it with you today. So last night I finished off a bag that I've been crocheting for my daughter, and I was inspired to make this bag because I made a similar bag earlier this year for myself using this pattern here. If you've been watching my channel all year, you might remember it. This is the Breezy Days Daisy bag by All About Amy. And I mentioned All About Amy patterns a few times this Vlogmas. I think so far I've mentioned some of her knitting patterns, which is where I started off. And when I started having a go of a couple of her patterns, I knew she had some crochet patterns too, and I sort of admired them, but couldn't do them myself. And then when I learned to crochet over the last year or two, I thought, oh, I can try some of her crochet patterns too, that would be really nice. So this is the first crochet pattern of hers I tried. It's a really lovely shoulder bag pattern that's made up of granny squares. And here is the version I made myself earlier this year, which I really love. It's kind of like a summery bag, I think, made in this sort of natural coloured cotton yarn. And after I'd made that, I thought maybe it would be fun to make my daughter a bag too. But I thought I'd make her a smaller one using a different pattern because I thought it would be fun to try another pattern as well. So I decided to make her a bag using this pattern here. So this is another All About Amy pattern. This is her Summer Days Daisy bag pattern. I think this one she released before the Breezy Days Daisy bag pattern. This was the more original one. So again, it's crocheted using these pretty granny squares that have flowers on. But instead of having the two straps, like the Breezy Days pattern, it has one strap, and you can make it longer if you want to be a sort of a crossbody bag or shorter to be a shoulder bag. It's kind of up to you how many stitches you want to chain, how long you want to make that to handle. So yeah, this is the pattern I decided to make for my daughter. I thought it'd be a nicer size for her because it's a little bit smaller. So we had it together and chose a few different yarns, and we used the recommended yarn that the pattern suggests, which is a Lion brand 24/7 cotton yarn. I've popped it on my Amazon favourites list, so I'll link it down below. Comes in quite a lot of pretty colours, so it's quite hard to choose for my daughter, but she chose 3 colours in the end, a yellow and 2 pinks, and here is how her little bag has turned out. Yeah, and I really love it. I think it's super cute. So we went for a yellow flower centre and then darker pink petals, and then sort of lighter pink for the rest of the bag, and she's a big fan of this sort of paler pink colour. The bag is maybe coming out a little bit brighter on the camera with the sunlight coming in than it actually is. It's a little bit more of a paler pink in real life, but yeah, it was such fun to crochet. I made a longer strap because my daughter wanted to have it as a crossbody bag. And yeah, it took a couple of goes actually to get the strap length right, but I got there in the end. And I think it's pretty good on her now. We've kind of tried it on her a couple of times through the process. So it's not a Christmas present for her. It's just something that I've just made for her along the way, because it wouldn't be really a surprise for Christmas anyway. So yeah, it's all ready to give to her now. It's a lot of fun to crochet. I think you make it out of 15 little crochet squares, and then you sort of crochet all the squares together with each other. So there's not really any sewing up to do really, other than sort of weaving in the ends. So it's quite nice actually. If you're not a big fan of the sewing up and you want to crochet everything, it's a great bag pattern, this one. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It came together really nicely, and I hope my daughter will enjoy using it. I quite fancy using it myself really. I think it's quite cute. So yeah, I thought I'd share that. It was really nice to get that finished. All the little details on it, even the little detail, I think on the strap, there's this little detail of this sort of these little gaps you crochet, which I think is a really pretty detail on the strap, and that goes around the top of the bag too. So yeah, I was really happy to finish it, although I'm actually happy to finish it on one hand, but also a bit sad to finish it because I really enjoyed crocheting it. So anyway, I thought I would share that now too. And then today I'm hoping to start work on my, the name's just totally gone for me, my DD pullover by 5 Mood. So after, I'm going to have a lunch in a little bit, and then after I'm hoping to get my sewing machine out and start a bit more work on this pattern here. I've got the zip here to show you actually, because I don't think I've shown that before, and I found that because I thought I need to get that out if I'm going to start attaching it. I decided to get a bit of a chunky zip. I got this just from eBay. It was quite hard to find one that was the right length. It was a bit chunky, but I thought that would suit the kind of oversized, fluffy fabric, having a bit of a chunky zip. So just in plain black. So that is my plan for a little bit later. And then also, while I'm on today a little bit later, I'm hoping to pop upstairs and show you our airing cupboard. So I mentioned our airing cupboard in my Vlogmas video yesterday, day 10. And I think I've mentioned it a couple of other times over the years, and I've had people asking sort of what is an airing cupboard and how do you use it and what does it look like and that sort of thing. And a couple of people yesterday asked if they could possibly have a little peek at what it is. So yeah, I thought I'd show you that a little bit later. So I thought I'd explain what an airing cupboard is in case you weren't familiar with them. It's quite popular, they're quite sort of common in UK houses, but I know they're not a thing everywhere. But yeah, quite a lot of UK houses do have them. It's basically a cupboard that's built upstairs. Usually you access it off the landing, and it houses the hot water tank. And so it's quite nice and warm because the hot water tank's in there, and it's usually built as a sort of storage cupboard. So often it has shelves built into a hanging rail, usually sort of built around the tank. And it's quite handy for storing things like sheets and towels and that sort of thing in there. And also if we ever go out and get wet, so if we have like wet joggers or that sort of thing, it's quite handy to go and pop them in there and hang them. They dry nice and quickly. So almost is the equivalent of like a covered area only built into the wall. So yeah, it's really handy. Also, if I have a shower, after the shower, pop the towel in there and it will dry off nice and quickly too. So yeah, that is the airing cupboard. I do have a little utility room here. I know some countries have laundry rooms upstairs, and we don't have one of those. I have a utility room downstairs off the kitchen, which is quite small. It has my washing machine and tumble dryer in, but it's at the back of the house, which is a colder side of our house, so it's not great for drying clothes there really, so I don't tend to dry clothes in there. And you couldn't dry like a whole wash in the airing cupboard. It's not really big enough for that, but it is great for drying the odd thing and storing lots of linen and that sort of stuff. But yes, and so anyway, so our airing cupboard is a little bit unusual because the way our house is built, it's a bit quirky. The airing cupboard isn't accessible off the landing. You actually access it via one of the bedrooms upstairs. And the bedroom you have to access it via is actually the one my husband works in. So he's up there at the moment, probably on a call. So it can be tricky to get in there in the daytime when he's busy on calls. But I did mention to him that I wanted to sort of pop in and film a little bit of the airing cupboard. And he did say he's going to pop out a little bit later. So when he heads out, I'll whiz upstairs and show you the airing cupboard. It is really handy. It's a bit unusual having it accessed via a room like we do, but it's still a really practical extra space to store things and keep things nice and warm. So yeah, that is what the airing cupboard is. So I'm hoping, all being well, if he heads out a bit later and I manage to get that footage, I'll pop it in next, and then I'll catch up with you a little bit later on to share how I've been getting on the sewing front. So I'll leave you hopefully with some footage of the airing cupboard, and I'll see you again a little bit later. So yeah, see you in a bit. Bye. So here is our airing cupboard in our back bedroom. So I'll open the doors and show you inside. So here we are. Here's inside the airing cupboard. You can see at the back there, there's the hot water tank. And we've also got at the back here, those are our central heating controls, and lots of pipe work to do with the central heating system in the hot water tank. So it's a bit of a control centre in our airing cupboard. And it's kind of built over the stairs here, so it's a bit of a funny shape. Anyway, we've got a couple of shelves here, and I've got all my towels and bed linen and that sort of thing. Also here are my children's trainers. They are drying off from having got very wet in the rain on the way back from church yesterday. I think they probably are dry now, so probably I'll take them downstairs now and put them back in the shoe cupboard downstairs. And then what I really like about the airing cupboard actually is we've put in this rail at the top here, this hanging rail, and it is really useful for drying fabrics, particularly when the weather's bad and I can't put them on the line outside. It's quite a nice wide rail, so usually if I fold the fabric over once, it sits quite nicely there and it dries off really well. And it's such a better option than putting it in the tumble dryer. So yeah, I quite like that about the airing cupboard. And yeah, obviously I've just got a lot of hangers stored here as well. It's quite handy as just a general storage place as well as anything else. So yeah, that is our airing cupboard. They do come in all different shapes and sizes. But yeah, I do like it. It's a really handy space in our house. It's quite practical. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed seeing it. I'll close the doors now. Oh no, I need to get this trainers out. But anyway, yeah, that was a little tour of our airing cupboard. Hello, so I hope you enjoyed seeing my airing cupboard there. So it's a little bit later now and I've got my sewing machine out and have been sort of preparing to do a bit of sewing. So I thought I'd share with you what I've been up to. So I'm working on my 5 mood DD pullover, which is this pattern here. And earlier in Vlogmas, if you've been watching, you'll know I cut out all the pattern pieces and the next step was to insert the zip, which I was a little bit nervous about. So that's the point I'm at now. I'm about to insert the zip. So the first thing I did was to cut out a couple of strips of interfacing, and I used non-stretch interfacing so that hopefully the zip will go in without any stretching of the fabric whatsoever. So I've added a sort of inch wide strip of interfacing down each side of where I'm going to be inserting the zip. So this is the collar pattern piece and you cut it on the fold. So I've interfaced down each of the sides here, just an inch wide so you can see it here. There's my interfacing. And then the next step is to pin the zip in. I decided to use pins rather than Wonder Tape because I thought with this fabric being quite bouncy and furry, the Wonder Tape actually might end up sort of bouncing off a little bit because it wouldn't stick sort of very flat with all the fur. So I thought I'll go for pins and that'll hold it nice and flat and secure hopefully. So I pinned the zip in face down. These are going to be the front pieces of the collar piece. So both sides are pinned down, and then what you need to do is you kind of fold down the other side and pin them both together and then sort of sew here, and that will sort of sandwich the zip in between. I've got all the pins, my zips in place of pins, and I've added Wonder Clips to sandwich the 2 pieces of fabric together just because it's quite bulky. So that is where I'm at on one side. I need to do the same for the other side, and then I actually need to sew it and just keep my fingers crossed the zip stays in place and I have a nice straight line down the side, and then basically turn it the other way inside out and the zip should just be there to be able to use. So I'm hoping it goes okay. I need to get the right thread in my sewing machine and put the zip foot on and all that sort of thing and give it a try. So wish me luck and I'll share with you how I get on. So I'm back again. I showed a little excerpt there of me sewing my zip into my DD pullover and it is now all sewn in. So I thought I'd show you how it's looking. So here is the collar and here is the zip at the front. I'll just zip it up so you can see. There we are. There's my collar. All finished the zip in. I made sure to remember to have, because I cut all my pattern pieces with the fur going this way, so I made sure to have the front collar with the fur going this way, and then you can see the inside piece, the fur goes the other way, goes down. So I'm glad I remembered that. And actually, putting it in wasn't as bad as I expected. It behaved quite nicely. It didn't, yeah, it just went in all right, really. I used a combination of pins and clips to sort of secure it in place. The clips are quite good to kind of make sure I held all the layers of the fabric together quite nice. I do like them for sort of bulkier fabrics. And the pins were good for just holding the zip right in the right place to make sure that it didn't sort of slip out the way as I was sewing down. And it worked quite well. And I think having the interfacing definitely made a difference as well. But yeah, it all went really smoothly, much better than the last time I tried to sew a zip into jersey fabric or stretch fabric. I think that time I was sewing into like a lighter weight stretch fabric that probably was a bit more stretchy than this fabric. So and I hadn't put any interfacing in, and it just sort of stretched and stretched. But yeah, this one's absolutely fine. So I'm really sort of relieved and pleased to have it in, and it wasn't as scary as I thought. It definitely makes me think I shouldn't shy away from putting zips into stretch fabrics, and if you sort of prepare well and put it all together nicely, pinned carefully, then once you get to the sewing machine, sort of a lot of the job is already done before you get there with all the preparation. So yeah, I'm really glad that's in. So the next step, I guess, is to put this collar, sort of insert the collar into the main body of the sweatshirt. And I'm not sure I'm going to have time for that now, because I want to sort of make sure I get everything tidied up, and I want to get this video uploaded and edited and everything, and then get also to go and get my children from school. So I've got a few things I want to do, so I probably should finish sewing now. I'm not sure whether I'll pick this up again this evening or whether it'll be maybe a job for tomorrow, but I'm really looking forward to carrying on with this DD pullover now. I did feel really nervous about the zip bit, so I'm glad to have tackled that. So yeah, that is really good progress today, I think, on that one. So yeah, I think, oh gosh, it's a bit fluffy around the edges. The fluff is falling off. I didn't think I needed to interface those edges yet. So I guess maybe they get interfaced once I've sewn them to the main body of the fabric. I probably shouldn't waft them around too much, because bits of fluff are coming off as I'm moving the fabric about. But anyway, yes, so I think I'll probably finish off this video here. So thank you so much for joining me for another day of Vlogmas, and I'll look forward to seeing you again for day 12 tomorrow. Hope you've had a good day too, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Bye.